We'll kind of do like one round robin, maybe two, depending on what's going on with your devices, or all of our devices, since I'm working tonight too. Sorry, normally me telling stories isn't always working. I'm telling stories because that's what my degrees are in. But then, depending on what you guys are hearing, we may regroup back here. I'll give you all the answers to all of those types of questions, and then kind of show you how everything connects, and then we'll go on to the next space. So where are we now? We're at the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. This is where their home used to be. Their mansion used to sit in the front of the space where the only two cars in here. That's the beauty of a weekday for us at the Pinckney Mansion site. There's only two cars, so we're not going to be in everybody's way. Keep in mind the weekends are my busiest time, 10 people, and there's not a space left. So it kind of limits our space, and I have more people. So kind of be grateful. Not to be that kind of guy, but that's what's going on a Tuesday night. Mansion faces East Bay Street. Eliza's garden, lined up with Five Church Restaurant, comes all the way across. We are standing inside of the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you lost track of how many Charleses there were. Now, that's exactly why we look for secondary clues. If you hear the name Charles, I'm hopefully going to get the verifier of which Charles it is through my communication device, or hopefully you get it. So that's why I always look for a secondary clue. Charles is a great name for this location. I just don't know which one it is. However, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, they will basically scream at me for not recognizing their signing of the Constitution through a spirit box in some way, shape, or form, and a nasty message. And I don't want that for you guys. So we're going to move on anyway. We're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza has a much better story. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial days that she came from when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards, because her husband was over double her age. Kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. Kind of giving you just some clues. She married him because her father was over in England, where Eliza's from, or at least where her family's from. And the father thought he was dying, so he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married in 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. Sorry, we normally get some pretty high EMF while we're here, so I should be keeping an eye on this at the same time. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, so there's no poking the bear with any affairs or any foul play with the marriage. There wasn't any. True love story. Keep that intact. 3.9. Somebody remember that number if I don't. That's a good number for us to start off with. Just putting that out. We're going to talk about that in a minute. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You've been here for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Right. You don't know what it is. It's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for now. But Eliza, when she got her seeds, had no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated because it's not always hot here. By the way, where are you two from?
Delaware.
Delaware. Oh, you did mention it, Delaware. I didn't know if that's where you're from or not. But anyway, so once she figured out how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye from the slaves here in the home, in the garden basically, then moved it to a cash crop and got a hold of Dad and said, our rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So that's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why we're here, right? So at least that's why you're here. So she's like, she's infatuated with the history. You're waiting for all the weird, goofy stuff to go on, right? Mm-hmm. So, heard anything yet? Nothing. No words that you can make out whatsoever? No. It's even the silly things. Kind of keep that in mind. Even the song lyrics. It might be the song Hands on My Knees, but the word knees might be relevant to that space. So, just giving you the point of reference. So, normally I have a bunch of spirit boxes that are kind of slewed about. My spirit box, I'll be focused on, and I may ask these questions out loud, I may just focus on them, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So both Elizas, I know, kind of a jerk move, and it's even closer than you think. It was January of 1744 that the first one died. 5 months later, he married the one I just told you about. So really a jerk move. Even more weird, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. It shows up here all the time, depending on which Eliza we're dealing with. So the age numbers of...
Sort of, but he can't go wrong with Eliza.
I know. It's either really smart or
stupid.
He
can't get in trouble.
So if I have gentlemen in the group, I usually say the word smart. If I have nothing but ladies in the group, I usually say it's really stupid. So it just makes me look gooder. I
sort of see both sides.
So you have to imagine, again, 300 previous employees. I know how to read a crowd. So I'm going to play to the lady's strength and say, like, that's a jerk move, right? So that makes me look way better. Anyway, back to, I'll be looking for her maiden name and probably the ages of when she got married. You're going to focus on her death. She's pretty open about talking about it.
Her what?
Her death.
Her death.
So how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Those are 4 major questions that we get the answers to. If you're going to go rogue and ask your own question or have your own focus, just make sure A, it's not yes, no question, and we are not going to be asking questions about her children tonight, simply because we're still relatively close to a tragic date among her children. We don't want to poke that bear. Let's just stay away from the kids. I will tell you about them before we leave the space. Is that fair?
Yes.
Again, this is a Know Your Ghost. This is a prominent English woman, very prim and proper. So that's why we're going to keep this one short. Like I said, we'll kind of do 1 or 2 round robins, see what's going on with your device. I want to make sure you get the gist of it. This is one of the most active spaces I've ever been in 11 years of ghost hunting. So this is one of those places where if we're going to get something, this is usually where it's going to happen. But if you're going to struggle with a spirit box, this is where I kind of get the gist that you're going to be struggling with a spirit box, which is okay. We'll get you something else and keep that running, and I'm still going to want to go through it later. So, are you guys ready to take a walk?
Yes.
What do you want to know about first?
I want to know
Eliza?
when,
Eliza?
Oh, yeah. I want to know how old Eliza is.
Okay, when she
When
passed
she
away.
died.
When she died? Okay.
What else? When she got married. Right?
Well, I'm asking literally, like, what do you want to know first? So what question do we want to focus on first? We're not going to ask all of those all at once. So when I do have a full group of 10 or 12.
Is Eliza here with us right now?
Okay. Eliza, I already told you who was coming by, that I was going to be bringing 2 young ladies with us. We're going to take a lap around your home and your property. First thing we're going to go after is ask you about how old you were when you passed away. So if you can give us that number or anything else you want to grab from the box that she's using. This is Kathy, she's listening, so by all means, speak to her, she can hear you. I did have a 3.9. Do you guys want me to explain what this is as we kind of walk around a little bit?
Sure.
So the electricity in the air, right, other than 4.4. If you were to put this behind your TV set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So I don't know who these 2 young ladies are behind it. They're kind of staring in the lot like, what the hell are those wackos doing? But anyway, 40 to 60 milligauss. The average spike for this location is between 18 to 22. So when I say spike, it's going to go up in between those numbers and then drop down pretty low, probably below 2.5. Your microwave that runs on high goes between 150 to 170 if you're standing next to it with this device. The highest I've ever seen this device go in my 11 years has been here, 214 milligauss. This goes 8 times higher than that blinky light doodad that I put away earlier, just so you have that idea. The other one only goes to 25. This one goes obviously well over 200. So that 214 night, we left pretty quickly, just to make sure I was going to be okay. Like that was for more of my safety than anything else. So again, I normally expect an 18 to 22. What do you have going on? I can see the blinking light. So one of the first things I look for, just so you know, and this is actually a good sign. So do you see the 3 dots that make up the head?
Yes.
If you were to point that at me, it's going to put 2 in my eyes, 1 on my nose, because that goes into my flat face and my
Okay.
nose sticks out of my flat face.
Okay.
That's a good sign that we have 3 dots there, because that means that there's a good possibility that it's picking up on something. If it wasn't picking up on a face, it would just be 1 dot.
1 dot. Okay.
So whoever is over there, we can see you through this box that we're using. Can you raise your right hand or make your legs show, because we cannot see your legs?
Right hand.
I seen it.
I saw the right hand.
Can you move your left hand for us, the same way you just moved your right hand? We can see you, or we could. You kind of dissipated. I want your left hand to
There's
extend.
your left hand. There's your left hand. Okay,
Well, it
we
was
see
way up here, so it could have been that it was picking up on a tree branch or something along those lines. I would want it a little bit lower, just based on what we saw out of the right hand.
Okay.
Perfect. There we go. Can
There
you
it
make your
is.
left hand outstretched, please? Left hand. Thank
There
you.
it is. There it is.
Wonderful. Love it. Love it. Love it.
We
love
see it.
Can you move out of that space a little bit, just so we can clarify that it's really you and not picking up something that we can... Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it would have been there, right?
Yes.
So I want you to keep that pretty steady. I'm going to walk over there and
Okay.
see if we can get whatever that figure is, whoever it is, to shake my hand.
Okay.
So I'm going to also point in mind that females during that time will probably not shake my hand. So if it's Eliza, we probably won't get a reaction. But if it's one of the gentlemen, one of the pink knee politicians, we may get him to shake my hand out of respect. So
Okay.
We'll see what we can get out of it. Tell me in proximity. Am I standing?
Nope, not yet.
No.
No.
Did they disappear?
Something's still there. Pops in and out.
Is it in front of me or behind me?
It's not here at all right now.
We don't see you at all.
Okay. It's blinking on and off, sort of.
See, we don't even see him.
That would be your left hand. Let me know if the left hand moves.
No.
He's blinking on and off like I don't see him right now.
Take it up just a tiny bit.
Okay. Oh, something going on here. That might have been a tree. Don't see anything. Nothing yet.
No left hand extended.
We don't even see it now.
Now it's going. My temperature's going right back up again. So this gives me temperature as well with the little probe right
Okay,
here.
now
So it's
I'm
an
seeing it now. Look.
87.3 is when I went over there, and the 85.7 was a low point. I normally look for like a 15-degree temperature drop because I use a thermal camera too. But seeing it in real time starting to go down, I was like, I feel a little draft, but I want to make sure I want to clarify that.
Now, see, we didn't see you at all.
When I brighten it up and take a screenshot,
You
that's
will.
you'll see me in there. Now,
Okay.
it's almost a good thing that it didn't see me at this point, because if it's picking up anything over there and it's blinking on and off, and you know I'm solid and I should have something,
Yeah.
then that was definitely something going on. And again, I'm not here to make things up. So I'll be honest, I haven't caught something with this camera in probably 2 to 2.5 months, like especially in real time. So like this is exciting for me. This is me excited. I'm not gonna scream
Okay.
and pound walls like demons are here. But you can see the temperature starting to go up a little bit, like just points, but it's still. Have you heard anything at all?
Nothing. Just static.
Is it
No
moving?
words.
Yep, it's moving. So remember, it's that radio. Whatever the radio tells you is what I want to know.
Okay.
The fact that it's all over the place is a good sign too.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be standing for a while and then laying. Like,
I will tell you, just for future reference, you're not pointing at one now, but it will pick up our shadows because it's an absence of light.
okay.
So it's going to make it look like there's somebody laying on the ground because
Oh.
the shadows are on the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I see now. Over here,
Right.
where our
So
shadows are.
if there was enough light for that to be able to detect that, then it would definitely put a shadow or a stick figure on the ground like
Okay.
like a crime scene. 86.4, so it's climbing back up. I'm telling you, I walked over there at an 87.1, and as soon as I put it over there, it dropped almost a full degree.
Wow.
So it's again, it's subtle. And with the 15-degree drops on the thermal, that's where I get excited. But when you can see it in real time,
It looks like it's sitting down.
Yeah.
it's almost like it's on top of that wall over there now.
Could it be the tree?
Is the windows, okay? Up by the windows, no? Could it be the tree?
So, like, there is a ledge over there, too. Like, there's a back wall to Five Church Restaurant.
Okay.
So it did look like somebody was kind of sitting on top of the wall.
Yes.
but you're not always getting it in the exact same spot. That's what's making me think like we have somebody pretty legit here, but getting those reactions of move your right hand, move your left hand, step out of the way for a second, like those are definitive reactions. Like we didn't see that happen before we requested it.
Right.
That's why I'm excited.
Uh,
But like what we're picking up now, it could be some of the gobbledygook from the branches and whatnot because
Okay.
it's above the wall. But before, what we had was below the wall.
yes.
That's where I'm like, okay. And when I talked to the developer of this app, I wanted to know how it worked to make sure I can debunk a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's always going to try to make it look like a figure. Always.
Always.
But I look for those 3 points on the head. Like that's the major feature for that particular.
Yes. And it looks like a. And it looks like it there.
It's also leaning like it was too. So you don't know where that lean is coming from.
But at first it wasn't leaning.
Yeah.
No.
It's dancing for you.
Yeah.
And the lower the sensitivity you make that, the less wiggling you get out of it. So when we first got it, it just looked like everybody was dancing. This is crazy. I gotta lower the sensitivity.
Okay.
It's my last one, 4.4 that I didn't write down. Alright, I want to see if I can get any higher readings. So I say we kind of move on. And we have
Okay.
enough footage of that for either proving or debunking.
Okay. Should I stop
Oh no,
recording?
we want to keep it recording.
Okay.
Because again, if you're going to record something, once you see it, it's already gone.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
just keep it running whenever
I see.
we're in a space.
I see.
So we're going up this way. Guys, you here? That could be cars going back.
I can't make this stuff up. Do you see where the word knee is?
Yep.
And I told you about listening to the song Hands on My Knees.
Yeah.
That's probably right around the same time that popped up. I also, when I came over here, I thought, oh, okay, we could smell the restaurant. There's the word smell.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that was my first thought, like, I smell steak. Because somebody's
Yes.
cooking some steaks. So, again, these are what I call real-time moments. Am I going to label them as being solid and paranormal? Not necessarily. But, to me, there's no such thing as coincidence either. So, again, you're just missing things in real time, which, like I said, is perfectly fine. You've never done this before. So, hopefully something you have on there, like I might find the word steak, and I'm not looking for it. I just wait for it to happen. So,
Right.
it's all the weird shit that I find. I'm like, I don't know, maybe one of the ladies likes steak really. You know, that's their favorite dinner or something. What do I know? That's why I write it down. Oh, somebody walking by, point your camera down. So, we're just talking, having a conversation. Temperature still trickling, it's going back up again. Yeah, these cars over here normally belong to employees that work down here.
Okay.
And sometimes they take breaks in their cars, and that's why I'm like, let's just be careful.
Yes. I get it.
Oh,
on,
20.4.
Huh?
We've got a 20, then there's a 29.4, 29.3, 24.6. You guys seeing this?
Yeah.
And now back down to 5.6. Thank you, Eliza. Now if you can give us some answers.
Liza, can you tell us when you died? What year did you die?
Eliza, we're asking about your death. You want to tell us your age,
Get something else?
who honored your casket that was a president? Tell us what year it was. Anything you want us to know about when you died. What you got? Are you trying to make it go off?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it made like a dinging sound or something.
I got you, but I was too close. I was too close.
Liza, can you give us the date?
And then down to 0. Liza, you're gonna have to follow us around a little bit. Let's actually.
Are you here with us right now, Eliza? Not anything?
23.5. Somebody's following us around. 22.4. 18.4. 75. That's pretty decent. You can see how my numbers are kind of going all over. Right now they're going to drop.
Wow.
That's low. Like up to 1.1 is natural. So
Okay.
it was like the highest I've had so far. 29.4 I think was the highest. But one night last week we actually had a 113.
Whoa.
Yeah, and again, it's different every night.
Every night.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
There's been nights I come in here and we get nothing. Like little 0.1s, 0.2s, and it's because I might have a disrespectful group that night.
Uh-huh.
And that's usually what I notice is it's like, oh, I brought the jerks tonight.
The people too.
It's always the people.
Okay.
If I have one skeptic in the group, it'll ruin the entire night.
Wow.
I've seen it dozens and dozens of times. One skeptic that wants to broadcast and make Ghostbuster jokes all night long, yeah, we're not going to have or see a lot all night long.
Right.
All right, I say we head to the back. I mean, we got some really good footage there.
Okay.
So I think we're just struggling with that spirit box, so you might have to actually share the earbud so she can help you
Yeah.
out a little bit. And we'll cover the answers, and I'll tell you about the next space.
Oh, no, we ain't.
10.2.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right, we got joined at the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta stay
This
close.
is good for walking. And you can pull that thing apart. Like, it goes further than that. They're just cheap
can
airline.
we?
Yeah, oh yeah, pull that thing apart. There you go.
Hold on, Pat, hold on.
I am. I am.
There we go. All right, now we
Okay.
can walk. So let me turn it up a little bit and it's staticky.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Got static? Very
Yeah,
low.
but I can't hear it.
It's okay.
I know.
I
You
can hear a
probably
little
turn-
bit of talking, but I can't hear what they're saying. It's low. Can you go up a little more?
Huh?
Yeah, let's give her a minute to kind of go ahead and turn that volume up a little bit if you can handle it.
That's better.
I usually tell people make it as high as you can withstand it because those are cheap earbuds, so they're not going to have the best quality of sound.
Okay.
Like I listen to them with like high quality earbuds in when I'm going back to the office, so I can usually pick things out a little quicker.
Okay.
So I do want to give you a minute just to kind of go. You can stop your recording, by the way, on that guy. Realize that we're recording everything. Just keep in mind when I'm like watching this video, I'm usually looking at the right down the dead center, simply because all the foliage in here. Again, I told you not to look at anything with leaves. There's a lot in here, so I'm usually looking at whatever's on the brick. That kind of makes sense. All right, so welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Every tour comes down here. They all tell the same damn story. We're gonna talk about it a little bit differently, simply because you're ghost hunting. You're not doing a campfire marshmallow ghost tour like they are down there. So, by the way, if you were wondering about pricing on other ghost tours, they're like $20 to $25. I had 4 people text me today about how much are your tours, and like, first off, it's on the damn website. Secondly, once I tell them I don't hear anything else, I'm like, yep, there's a reason. Like, you need to go find the other tour. So, but anyway, this used to be called Duelers Out. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, we all tell that same story of the one specific duel. So, yeah, if I don't see them coming up, just let me know if they're walking up so I can stop talking. But here's how the piece of history goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If the song Brown Eyed Girl comes up on our recording during the time that we're here, it's not coincidence if it shows up here all the time because it's part of his name, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Anyway, he moves down here from Rhode Island because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of his cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor. He's going to be after your money. So to prove that he's not, he comes down here to Charleston. On his way into town, a coachman brought him in but set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the coachman. This is where I stopped. That gentleman's name was Ralph Isaacs. I stopped there because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaac's Rhode Island. So RI was showing up all the time on our spirit boxes, and I bought a new device. It's basically a digital Ouija board. It works off the EMF, just like the little dude that I've been using all night, and it basically gives us letters as the cursor moves over the alphabet. So I can't tell you how many times we've gotten RI when I start talking about Ralph. Happens all the time. Not to mention all the RIs I was already getting from somebody spelling some craziness on a radio station. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. Go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room. Those are friends of mine. They'll help you out and get you a room. You'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. The two gentlemen now become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash flow. Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd hears that news, and he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours is a doctor, so I'm just going to point that out. Why it says substantially silent would be a very weird little flash on there. It's very weird. But every ghost tour in town tells you to listen for the whistles while you're down here. Substantially silent. I was waiting for the AC to stop because this is normally what it sounds like. It's always this quiet, even on a busy Saturday afternoon. I will tell you, I'm going to be talking the whole time we're here, but luckily enough for us, we're using my voice recorder on my shoulder strap, plus all of the cameras that I normally bring out. If that whistle's going to be there, it's going to show up on one of those two devices and or the spirit box. Can't tell you how many whistling parts of songs I get while I'm in here, plus the word doctor that shows up there for after. So take that for what it's worth. Back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. Here's why it's called Donor's Alley. They used to go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they go see Richard III one night, Shakespeare. They're walking home, talking about the new actress, and the doctor thought she was great. Couldn't say enough good things about her, but Ralph thought she sucked. She was horrible. It turns into an argument, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It's really ugly, and they go their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper. I don't think I have to explain what an ad in the newspaper is to this group. That's wonderful. Teenagers have no idea what the hell that means.
I know.
But anyway, the ad,
sad.
it is. It's very sad. There's a lot of things I have to explain to a damn teenager, like what a pallbearer is. Like back at the other place, yeah, I had to explain that a lot. Like, what's a pallbearer? Like, you obviously, never mind. But anyway, the ad basically states what Ralph thinks of Dr. Ladd, kind of like you're a monstrosity to society kind of mentality. Doctor saw the ad, rebutted with, let's just go to Donor's Alley. Let's settle this. Like men, somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. Just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph, as his one bullet, puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. A lot of things with kneecaps for us tonight, isn't there? So, we didn't get it over here, so I'm not going to count it towards Dr. Ladd. So, the funny thing is if we do get the song Hands on My Knees, it's usually as we're entering the space. So, take that for what it is. Couples usually laugh when they hear it. I'm like, nope, that's relevant. We're going to talk about it. But anyway, Dr. Ladd fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. Why did he refuse medical treatment? He's a doctor, and it's also 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than they are now. He probably just tried to bleed out the lead poisoning, but failed, because he died. So, he was 22 years old, and again, very specific, a lot of details that go into this of things that we get. We normally will get his birthday on the spirit boxes while we're here. I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's very significant, only because of what type of date that it actually is. It's very odd of how we get it. So I'll explain more about that later in the event that you guys hear what those numbers are and why it would be so specific and relevant. Now, I will tell you that if you're going to try to come through here, I don't know how long you ladies are staying here in town, but a lot of people like to come here afterwards, like after they're done with me, and go walk all the way through the alley and turn on the voice recorders from their phones, seeing if they can get the whistles for themselves. I can't take you all the way down to the end of the alley. I've been kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, because that's the fun part of the story. But keep in mind, if you're going to do that on your own, all the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street, the street we came in on, or Queen Street on the other side, throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single morning. When I'm done with your data, my office is that way, my garage is over here. I have to walk past the alley in order to get to my car. I always throw a whistle down here ever since I got thrown out. Let's get into that, because that's funny shit. Now, oh, that group went the other way. Perfect. Now you can see how long the alley is. This will make perfect sense now.
It's long.
Yeah. This alley didn't always go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall halfway between us here at the gate and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I stopped here at the gate. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So imagine all the cows and chickens roaming through here that belong to everybody else. They probably had them tagged in some way, shape, or form. Now, with that, The bricks on the other side are older than what we're standing on. Those bricks, down at the other end, are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes in others. I'd always take my groups down there when I first started doing this to show off that particular handprint. Doesn't matter the diversity of my groups, the word diversity, I say it every single night, so it's almost like, damn, Dr. Ladd knew I was coming. It doesn't matter, we all need to see that handprint to show how far we've come away from slavery, right?
Sure.
So, here's where things get interesting.
Oh.
November 26th of 2020. I'm taking my group down there to show them the handprint, and I always say, I usually just point at it and keep moving, right? Because I'm trying to be respectful to the house at the end of the alley, and to mention, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. It's the last place you're going to find him. We're not going to get any activity out of it. But on that night, November 26th, my group decides to stop and huddle around the one brick. Again, I'm trying to be respectful to the neighbor. I didn't realize I was out of bounds for tours. Yeah, we have boundaries, big ones. So, yeah, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on a tour that night. She's probably about 13 at the time, maybe 14. And she thought it was hysterical. Dad's getting yelled at, right? So the next day we moved on. I told you you're gonna have a good time. So I told you that on the damn phone. Like, this is a rootin' tootin' good time. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving. I've already told you I worked in retail management for over 20 years, and for Walmart. I don't do Thanksgiving ever again. Sorry, not gonna happen. The next day was November 28th. The date's irrelevant. I'm gonna get to it. I called my partner that I had at the time that actually recruited me into this craziness called tourism, and I told him what happened. And he's like, dude, he's laughing too, just like my daughter. He's like, you can't go down that far. He's like, you're only allowed to go down halfway. I don't know where that other tour group went, but they're not supposed to go all the way to the end. Which way did they go?
Well, they're gone.
They went
They went straight? They're not
went
supposed to.
straight.
It's residential. Anything after 6 o'clock residential has to stay within the boundaries. So I could turn them in if I wanted to be a jerk about it, but getting back to November 28th. So I decided that night, it's Black Friday, so it's the day after Thanksgiving, I got a full group again, and I gotta reroute my group. But what I told them was, I don't believe in the next story, because I've never had anything happen there. Tickets were much cheaper back then. I was still the $20 ticket tour guide, just cheap equipment. But anyway, I told them, I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're talking pirates next, in case you didn't figure that out. Now, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them who we were gonna be talking about. Famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So, oh shit, maybe we're gonna get something. We go up there, I told them what little bit I did know about piracy. Again, not a pirate person. I had less than 12 hours to try to come up with a story to tell at the next location. And somebody else here's the number 300. I don't know what it means. I write it down. Put it in my notebook. The next morning, I'm doing the data. We are there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We are there on the exact 300 anniversary.
300 years later.
Now, you guys have the wow factor. I was pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I still need facts and data, even writing fiction. I need facts and data, especially doing this. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that were written 100 years after they allegedly happened. So trying to piece together a factual investigation for a pirate is ridiculously long to do. I've read more books on piracy trying to debunk everything we're about to talk about than I ever wanted to in my entire life, just so you know. However, it is still a fun story, and everything we're going to discuss at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources, just so you have that inkling of thought. I'm not going to assign questions. I'm simply going to tell you after the history is over what I left out. You can ask whatever the hell you want to. It's not a prominent English woman, but keep in mind I'm hoping for things from Dr. Ladd here in the alley as well.
Okay.
Before we leave the space, the gate is another reason why I keep you here. A reason why I always stop here every single night, and the other tourists can have the spaces around me. This gate, remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. This gate will also show you how I piece things together. In the event there was a loser to the duel that just occurred, somebody's dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
They carry him this way so they can get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they got to go all the way down this long-ass alley and double back in order to get to St. Philip's Church. I call this the Death Gate. The wrought iron was probably not there until the early 1900s, but dueling pretty much was done taking place, I want to say it was like 1860-something.
Right.
Look at the archway though. It's definitely part of the original wall. So they created this for that exact purpose. Not many people know why this gate is actually here. They look at it now as kind of like an easement to go to the courtyard for the church, but there was a reason for it to begin with. There are other rumors of other famous duels that happened down there. I've yet to find any proof, even from the dueling experts that we have here in Charleston. Some say that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here. They also say that a lot of the reason why we have so much foliage along the actual brick wall is because they're hiding the bullet wounds, like the bullet shots that were in the walls, that if there was like what Dr. Ladd did in the air, sometimes they just shot it off to the side. Or they just could have been a bad shot. but there are supposed bullet holes in these walls. So it's a very interesting alley for sure. This is, again, the space I'm taking out because every tour comes down here. The week of 4th of July, there's probably 10 tours down here, and sometimes I just skip it. Like, it's not worth my flight.
Right.
So,
It's quiet tonight, and
yeah, it's Tuesday. And I will tell you that this heat has been killing
Yeah.
business. Like,
Yeah.
killing it.
yeah.
The fact that I am not seeing my major corporate competitor down here with 4 or 5 tour guides with 20 people each, sometimes 25 because they will break the rules,
Yeah.
is a natural wonder. We're still in summer. Now, here in South Carolina, I know my daughter went back to school yesterday. She lives in Myrtle Beach. So, again, it's one of those pieces where I know South Carolina's back in school, but we still should be getting tourists that are coming through down here. And my
Sure.
sister's a school teacher up in Ohio. That's where I'm from.
Uh-huh.
And I think she starts next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So again, I know different parts of the country go back at different times,
Right.
but I should still have a nice influx of like.
Something.
And again, it's
Right.
been really weird. It's been a lot of cancellations. I'll be
Okay.
honest. Like it's been
And the
a lot.
heat does have a lot. It
Yeah.
does.
Well,
It
I had
does.
folks from Minnesota a few nights ago. Oh my God, I thought they were melting. Like
Oh, they are
they didn't
not
know what
used
to
to
do.
this.
They didn't know what to
They're
do.
not
Now
used
I've
to
been in South Carolina for 12 years now.
Okay.
So, and I've gotten used to the heat. But when it gets cold down here, and when I say cold, that's like 32 degrees in January. Like I'm freezing. But guess what? All you Northerners still want to go ghost hunting.
I would be comfortable in that.
32, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, 32. I got hand warmers because my hands need to function with your guys' like. I get cold.
Oh, no,
Like back
that's
home,
my kind of
I'd be
weather.
out like shoveling the drive in 32 degrees,
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem.
When it's below 0 and you're going like, I don't even want to go out to the car.
We actually, in January
That's
this year, I think we had like a whole week of like 32 to 34 degrees, and I was busy. I was surprised. Like it wasn't like
That's comfortable.
it wasn't like
for
8 to 10 people, but I still had like 4 to 6 on like 6 out of 7 of those nights that week.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, "What the hell is happening?" I'm like, "I don't give a shit. We're working. Who
Exactly.
cares?"
We're working.
Like, I gotta keep plugging in the hand warmers, but who cares? Everything else is plugged in anyway. So, any major questions about dueling? Okay.
No, I
Ready to
don't
learn
think
about
so.
some rated R pirates? That's my punny of the night. My
Okay.
daughter would laugh at my dad joke. So she's the smart ass of the family.
Oh, yeah?
So, like, yeah. So
Did we get anything?
Where does she go to school? Myrtle
she,
Beach?
yeah, she is in Carolina Forest High School,
Okay.
and next year she'll be moving to Savannah to go to SCAD.
Oh.
So she's about to hit her senior year. My last kid, finally done. So, and she'll be the only one to go to college. So once she gets down there, and I make sure she's okay, because her mom lives in Myrtle Beach. We won't get into that history, why I'm in Charleston and mom's in Myrtle Beach. But I'll just say that London is going to be pretty happy to be in Savannah, and I'm closest. So we'll just kind of, we'll go with that.
Oh, that'll be nice.
So I'll be able to help her out when needed, because her boyfriend's moving down there too. They're, gonna need things and those kind of things. They're not moving in together. They're gonna have,
Right.
separate dorms.
But she's got a.
Yeah,
She's got
somebody to
Yes.
be with, and
Yes.
she understands that me and my wife are moving to New Orleans afterwards. And now I told her, I was like, shit. I was like, once April, your stepmom becomes a vet, we'll just fly you down first class. Like,
Yeah.
we're good to go.
Exactly.
So that's why we're going down there, so my wife can finish her schooling to become a vet.
Exactly.
And then, of
That's
course, with
great.
me, with my CPI and CET licensing, like, again, I'll be scoring it up down there.
There you go.
I can't wait. All
There's
right, let's
so
go learn about
much
some
there.
pirates.
All
I
right.
can't wait.
There's
Yeah,
so
listen
much
in.
there.
Kathy's like, I want to get back to work. We're talking about your days.
There, a mosquito got me.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're lucky you guys got smart and wore pants.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Well, that's what I
Well,
told her.
we
I
did.
said, I don't know what the bugs are going to be
I
like.
had 1 Okay. Today in 455.
Today.
You heard today?
Yep, plain as day.
So I wonder if today's date. Today's the 22nd. If that's relevant. Now I got it up. Hands itchy.
And it's not the 4th month.
Today. So when we get stuff like that and it stands out, I always look at the date to see if it's
Is there
relevant.
anything here? Bob? Critters?
No, you'll be fine.
Oh, come on.
People sit here every night.
You're not a sissy.
Jeez.
All right, so once I'm done giving you the history of the space, obviously we'll be able to spread out so that way we can kind of see what's going on in here. Other tours do cut through here. They usually come in from like across the street from the church and they'll like exit right there. We just stay out of their way.
Okay.
You can hit that record button if you want to.
I
Just
did.
face the camera that way if you want. You'll probably get a better shot than
Oh.
of my legs for the
Okay.
entire 7 minutes I need to tell you this
So
history.
that way, just a tag.
Oh, it must have been his
It
legs.
was his legs. Yeah.
I will also tell you, you have an ivy wall in the back. You have a couple of bushes around us. So just kind of keep in mind of where those tree and leafy areas are. So this is the place where everyone's like, look, there's a pirate hanging from the tree. I'm like, no, that's a leaf. Like, you jerk. That's what they hear a pirate story. That's what they want to see. So I will also tell you, like, I'm not looking at the EMF meter right here because we are next to an electrical pole. So I will use it when we are walking around.
Okay.
So here's how this goes. You guys seen this building that we were walking up to?
Yes.
You notice that it had crosses on it?
Yeah.
Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. What the hell's an earthquake bolt?
Is that what that is?
Now-
We saw them on the other building.
I said it was probably an awning coming out of the
Nope.
building.
So they go all the way through, and it looks just like that on the other side. So you have the identical thing on both sides of the building. There's a turnbuckle in between it.
Okay.
If we have another earthquake, like we did in 1886, which we haven't, you can turn the turnbuckles, and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage.
Wow.
It's a great idea. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work?
No, it's just part of our Charleston charm bullshit. You guys have seen them already in like lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of bullshit out
Yeah.
there. It's just part of the Charleston charm. Even the newer apartment building, I wouldn't say newer, but you see those peach squares like underneath the windows up there?
Yeah.
Those are also earthquake bolts. The weird thing about that building is they're on all four sides, which means those turnbuckles go all the way through one floor and then all the way through the floor this way as well. So that if it tightens up, it's going to buckle everything in and basically squish it right in the middle. It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Californians laugh their asses off at me every time I bring this thing up. They're like, you know that doesn't work. I'm like, don't beat me to my punchline. Like, just telling you. The reason I bring these up at all.
I
is
didn't even know what they were.
Yeah, and tours will tell you, like, those are earthquake bolts. You know, and they won't really go into the fact that the shit doesn't work. So,
Like it's useless.
this very crude set that we looked at that looked like crosses, the reason I bring them up is because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the
Okay.
first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is
And
that's
this
Right here.
this little building right here. This is the gunpowder magazine. So it held gunpowder for 7 different wars. Civil War being its last servant. So that tells you how long it's been since it's actually been in service to the government. But it's a museum now. Somebody owns it privately and turned it into a museum. It's gorgeous inside. So those earthquake bolts are there because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713.
Wow.
Now, we are here simply because, with this whole Aunt Bonnie bit, is because this building was being constructed at the same time that she was coming here. This is what I call a familiar. So you've probably seen the TV shows where they use that Boo Buddy, the teddy
Yes.
bear with the K2 meter in it.
Yes.
Now, they use that to try to attract the child ghost. So take that concept of, like, the child's going to come near because there's a toy involved. He recognizes it as a toy. It's the same principle here. There's not many buildings around town that Aunt Bonnie would recognize. So this is something she would recognize because it was here at the same time she was. So she came here right in the middle of its construction. So this, again, I call this a familiar. Here's how the piece of history goes. Bear with me, there's a lot of twists here. You guys seem like you're very attentive. I really appreciate that. I will slow down on the twists because we're talking about this kick-ass female pirate. There's going to be some weird twists here. Oh look, they're just going to keep moving along. What's with the girl in the go-go boots? You guys notice that? What the hell's that about? Like, you're going on a ghost tour. What the hell are you doing?
Wow.
Anyway, sorry. Did I say that out loud? Again, I say a lot of shit out loud. I probably shouldn't.
Oh, I
because
would have if you didn't hit it
my
first.
God.
You gotta see when I have bridal parties. Oh my god, because half of them show up drunk. And I just, my wife
Oh my
says, why do you have 9 ladies listed on your tour tonight? I'm like, what the hell do you give a shit? They're gonna tip well.
They're not going to listen to a word, but they're
No,
going to tip
they don't.
well.
And they're all gonna wear heels. I'm gonna have to send them all back to the car because I'm not taking girls that are half drunk on heels on our crooked ass sidewalks. Not gonna happen. I've walked away from them before. If they don't have extra shoes, sorry girls.
That's
It's on your tickets to wear
crazy.
comfortable shoes.
Yep.
yeah.
Or if they show up drunk, I go. Like if they're slosh
Yeah.
drunk, I go. Like I'm not doing this.
Yeah, that's not even
The equipment's expensive. But anyway,
that's not even fun.
yeah, it's horrible to be quite honest with you. But the funny thing is normally I get a Venmo the next day of a very high tip as an apology
Sure.
because I'm not refunding them.
No, they should
Well,
apologize.
it actually says it's up to my discretion if you are under the influence of anything. Then I
Right.
can walk away. This equipment is thousands of dollars.
That is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This
they
is-
are not your responsibility at
Exactly.
that point.
This isn't a
They're
joke.
grown adults and they can
Oh yeah, it's
Forge
funny
for
because if I don't
themselves.
refund and just walk away and I don't hear anything from them, it's usually the next morning when I wake up that my Venmo has been filled up. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
this one.
okay.
Never mind.
We've obviously
You can
knew you were a
move it.
jerk. 1708. Again, follow me. A lot of twists. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she, the wife, that she had to boot him out of the damn country? In 1708, there's no planes. It's by boat. They land over here in Georgetown. I'd just like to point out that that wife must have been really pissed off, and we're going to talk more about her later on. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. So now Dad is sending young Anne to Charleston to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. This is the aristocratic city at the time. Hence the familiar building, which is why we're here. Again, it's a 50-50 shot that she's going to be here the same time we are, so fingers crossed. This is not the Pinckney Mansion site where I'm going to have crazy EMF. Hopefully you're going to get a few terms. But anyway, back to Anne. Back home in Ireland, they say she was a badass even back then. They say she killed a servant when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old. Remember, it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had the term servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different communication devices without the other 2 people knowing what was going on. So it happens all the time. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. Yeah, that's the way this one's going to go. And the first guy she falls in love with, and I say first because there's a handful of these gentlemen. We're going to talk about them all because that's what makes this story so damn interesting. And again, I don't have to keep it PG-13 tonight. So let's move forward. First guy is James Bonney. All right, you already see where this one's going because I've already given you her pirate name. So Dad didn't approve because he's a pirate, and they ran away to Jamaica to get married. She married him. She became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. A few years go by, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually is. So, Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Do you know why?
Bad luck.
It is bad luck. Thank you for keeping it family friendly. So, I get a lot of raunchy answers to that kind of question, by the way. I get the wheels spinning and the parents are
I
shuffling
didn't know
their
that.
feet.
It's bad luck.
It's bad luck.
Bad
Okay.
luck to have a woman on the ship.
Yep. And it's not because of any kind of raping purposes or anything like that. It's
just
just a bad luck.
Bad
curse.
luck.
He makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you could be part of it. Just don't tell anybody that you're a female. There'd be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. She's a pirate. That's all she ever wanted. Let's go. Now, put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on
You
the crew.
can't hide that.
Right. So, before she starts the show, Jack drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here. These friends of mine will help you out. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. I have no idea what happened to this child. None of my research and all the books I've ever read about this woman have never said anything about this baby and what happened to it. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, as I'm sure you can imagine. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured. They're down below deck. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track.
Shoot.
Guy number 3 turns out to be a female. Just like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Just like her.
Just like her. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because it's, 300 years ago. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates that came up to fight with 1-bullet flintlocks because, first off, the rest of the crew and the captured crew were all too drunk to come up and fight, and they only have 1-bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain and beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog comes up on our communication devices a lot here. Just pointing that out. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. That was fancy. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be presenting today? So the judge wants to see these 2 men. The 2 ladies go in front. By the way, Calico Jack and the drunken pirates, they're already dead and gone. Like, he already tried and hung them. They're 2 days prior. So the 2 ladies reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was what they shouted out to him, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. They're trying to save themselves again. He says, fine. Delays the hanging till after the pregnancies, sends them both back to jail. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84.
Wow.
Mary Reed. Dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books would tell you that it was something simple like, like fever. I say, we're talking pirates, let's make it romantic, call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Here's what I left out of the piece of history. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, so you had something to go off of. So, that's the father and the mistress, so you can ask about what those names are. The other piece is the name of Calico Jack's ship. I did not tell you what that was that she became part of. The city where she grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. Everything else is fair game. This is not that prominent English woman. This is a kick-ass Irish, they called her Irish American. I'm like, whatever, she's Irish. Irish female pirate. So we can kick the shins a little bit and try to get some answers out of here and see what we can capture. So, this is a very weird space. We'll see if we get anything. We'll do 1 or 2 round robins just like we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. Nice slow movements out of the camera. Definitely both of you listening in, it seems like you guys do way better when you're both listening in on that guy. So we'll kind of see what we can get out of it, and you're just going to be like kind of double duty on your end.
Okay.
So let me grab my EMF detector and I'll see if I can get anything. I don't expect a whole lot out of this space. If I do get excited, it's probably going to be out of a number that we get out of the back half of the location, simply because the electrical pole.
455.
455 again, right? Let's see.
You got 455 again?
Yep.
What is with you guys in that 455?
455.
All right, Ann, you're here. You're going to want some answers. You know what we're going to ask. Let's just get right into it. Why don't you tell us what your parents' names were? We'll start off with something nice and easy. Trial. I'll take trial for sure. I don't know what.
Carrot, red hair.
She did have red hair. To me, a carrot's orange though.
It's
Even though she
close
could have been a
enough.
carrot top.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
They call redhead.
They spelled descend wrong. I'm just gonna point that out. Sorry, English guy. There's a couple words in here that are misspelled.
It's okay.
But we had bite when we were walking out of the alley, so it kind of gives me an idea of where we were. But the trial sucked, apparently. Not that she's going to use that term.
Yep.
Going to go up.
Gonna go up.
Going to go up.
And those aren't the names of your parents. You gotta give us the names of your parents. Writing in the dark is on my resume now. I do it every night, and I can actually decipher everything when I get back to the office.
Oh my gosh.
It's a weird skill to have.
The month of.
The month of, but I didn't see her.
Didn't hear anything else. The month of.
Let's see if it showed up online. Oh, so on, please let me.
Please let me. Please let me.
Mm-hmm.
Please let me.
Bet you would. It's been up there for a minute. Since we were back sitting over there.
Oh, wow.
do that.
Do what? And if you're here, let's start with something we can verify it's you. Can you tell us the name of your father? Let's go very specific. Tell us your father's name, please.
What is your father's name, man? Millionaire Monopoly.
That's an interesting phrase to hear about piracy.
Did you hear that?
That's what it said. Millionaire Monopoly.
Wow. We usually just get the word like money, coins, something along those lines, but millionaire monopoly.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not super specific, but it is noteworthy for sure.
Nothing.
You can walk around a little bit. I was following you, wherever you guys want to go.
Okay.
I've been
You
through
lead
this
the way.
space.
Okay. Oh, that's the tree.
I love how serious you're taking this. Like, you came in kind of skittish, but
Yeah,
you're like,
I'm
I think
into it.
we got her sold, Kathy. It's a good job.
I'm into it.
You got her sold on all of this now. And you want to give us anything more specific? I was asking about your father's name. She's got the word fellow. If you look, it almost looks like please let me follow.
Follow?
It says fellow, but maybe with an Irish accent.
It,
It
Let me
was-
follow.
It could be. Oh, now it
Or
says
feller.
feller. And what was your father's name?
Green?
Green. Green.
We're not asking about where you're from, Ann. We're asking your family members' names. What was your father's name? I know you didn't like him very much. I haven't gotten anything, by the way, on this guy at all.
Nothing. He's got nothing.
Me? I don't think.
Doesn't
I do
mean, like,
either.
and I don't expect it. I've gotten terms here with nothing on this before.
Really?
Yes. So it'll normally be like you're getting
On
a
my
phrase,
way.
and I'm getting a phrase on somebody on
What'd you say? On your way?
On my way.
on my way.
Who's on their way?
I don't know. It said on my way.
Well, she's asking the ghost. Who's
Oh.
on their way? Who's coming? Right? You were asking the ghost?
Yeah.
Figured. She thought you were talking to her.
It's genuine specific.
That's obviously the building.
Officers.
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 Yeah, I heard that.
Do we have somebody else here with us? That's a yes/no question. Still on pattern.
Recall and then Jesus.
Didn't we have that term earlier?
Walking.
Walking.
It's almost like she's telling us what to do. Remember, they said, please let me, fellow.
He's walking.
Okay, and we're walking. Now what? You're gonna tell us the name of your father. What was your dad's name?
The mosquito.
What's the matter?
No, no.
And if you're trying to give us the name of the ship, you got to be more specific than this.
What did it say?
That walking piece. It'll make more sense once I give you the answers. Just seems weird. Acid.
Acid?
Acid. I don't think I've ever seen that word on there. I've been using this thing for like.
What'd they have on the boat?
I know, right? I don't think they were dropping acid.
Oh, hold
I don't
on.
think so. What?
Turn back. Slowly.
I think it's a
All right.
tree. Oh. Wait a minute.
What is that?
I think it might.
It's got 3 stars, 3 things on it.
Yeah, but look how tall it is.
Yeah, it's so
It's
big.
up,
It's just-
standing on the wall.
It's up.
Standing on the wall.
That one's tricky because of how tall it is. You see how tall the post is?
Yes.
Like it's saying it's as tall
It's
as
saying
a damn
it's
post.
as tall as a post. It
All right,
can't be.
Let's go.
There has to be a tree.
This way.
There, she's directing you now. Give Kathy a job later.
I know.
We're going
Oh,
over
she's
here.
a boss. Let me tell you, she's
Sorry.
Who's older between the two of you?
her
In the way of.
in the way of.
Acid. Come on, Ann. We're trying to have some fun out here. Give us some details, some answers. What do you want?
Custom.
A laugh. A laugh.
I'll laugh.
They laughed.
Somebody laughing. And I said we're trying to have some fun.
So, ha ha ha.
Yes. And we're gonna leave if you don't give us some answers here. Keep it nice and simple. The names of your parents are easy to grab from the box that we're holding over here.
You get nothing on that.
Zeros.
How about that?
And remember, natural from the earth is 1.1.
Oh,
So we're not even getting that.
yeah.
So let's slowly walk towards the wall, kind of see what we get along there, and then we'll go over the answers, and I'll explain the last space because it's not the way we've been working. I'm gonna rock your world a little bit if you're okay with that. I'm gonna change this up. And last chance. We're gonna be here like another 3 minutes, maybe.
Don't stop. Do you hear it?
Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Queen.
Don't stop.
You didn't hear that?
Don't stop.
That's what it said. Don't stop. The station. The station.
So that's it's a stretch, but I'll make sense of it here in just a moment. I do have the word queen, and remember that the word walking that we saw earlier.
Yes.
So let's go over these answers. Go ahead and kill your video if you want. Up to you. You would like to speak about, and then we will have that conversation. Again, this is your night, not mine. This isn't about me, Henry. It's about you.
Four, three.
Henry, I know it's loud right now, and I know you don't like loud noises in here. But we're literally the only 3 people here. That's just a vehicle moving by. If there's anybody else here, feel free to tell us your name. okay with other people being here, but you need to kind of let Henry shine here. He's the one we're looking to converse with. Found the clarity spots where you can figure that out, Kathy?
Yeah.
Henry, if you're here, you gotta let us know some way. I've asked you a couple of questions, whatever you wanted to talk about. What sound did we hear out of the church? You can also tell us what church that is. It's not like you don't stare at it all the time. It's been here a long time, since your days. You should recognize it.
Looks like a building or a bridge. And there's a bus or a van going through
Okay.
down a highway. Could be an overpass.
This gentleman's from the 1860s. So it's not going to be something super relevant. Unless, of course, he's keeping up with the times of our vehicles, since I did mention the word vehicle.
Well, it looks like some kind of bus,
Henry, are you trying to tell us where to really...
limo.
It says active right now. Henry, what are you trying to tell us? Be a little bit more specific. Because I wouldn't think that you would know what those kind of vehicles are, even though, you know, you see them passing by our modern day. It's pretty high technology for your time period. This is 2023. It's about 170 years since your passing.
Hmm.
Just had to do that quick math in my head. It's got the word sober and theoretical that showed up. Participate. We're asking you to participate. We're going strictly images tonight, Henry. Just come near the green imaging box.
This world.
Show us what you want us to see. I normally ask what your occupation is to try to verify that you're here. Now it says the word tolerate. Most psychics will tell me that this guy's a little irritated with me, just so you know, because I've been coming here and this is the new space and he doesn't know how to take me just yet. Henry, get used to me. I come respectfully. This is how I learn about you. I like to hear it direct from you. I'm a writer just like you. Henry, can you tell us good night? If you don't want to talk anymore. No more images coming through.
Nope.
It says broken. Okay, I say we call it. Yeah, enough. So let's go ahead and pull that viewfinder off, Kathy. I know you don't want to.
I know. I was having fun with that.